Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cricket and the King podcast, the podcast where Jesus is the answer to everything, and we are constantly expanding on that point. I'm your host Ben, and this is my co-host Katie.
Hello.
And today we are going to be talking about beauty and why the Western world has declined in beauty. Or I think we both think that.
Not even like physical beauty though. That's not even like appearance wise, like on a person. Okay, we're
not talking about, we're talking about like
that's worth clarifying.
Yeah, it's worth clarifying. This isn't about objective beauty metrics of personal.
Yeah, we're not saying
image.
all of North America's gotten uglier. We're talking about something completely different.
Yeah, we're talking about like objective beauty in design,
Yeah,
in architecture,
yeah.
in art itself, I would say.
Music.
Yeah. But even in personal style, right?
Sure.
Like it's like weird ugly as in. You know?
Yeah, I mean, not to throw shade, but like some of the things that like Gen Zers wear, I'm like, man, oh man. Rough.
Yeah, but they probably look at some of the stuff we wear.
They're on their journey of self-discovery.
They probably look at some of the stuff we wear and are like, man, that's rough. But remember,
I stand by my skinny jeans.
Remember goth kids though? You know?
Yeah.
Like objectively beautiful?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I had my phase, so.
Objectively punk though? Yeah, rock on. You rock on, you little black eyeliner wearing fiends. Anyway, okay, so beauty. We were driving around town the other day, and we noticed something. Everything's ugly.
Yeah.
The buildings are just square warehouses.
Like these little cubicles that just go straight up.
Yeah, and then the houses, we literally have like cookie cutter houses where there's no definition, there's no beauty to it. You can make the inside of the house beautiful, but even then we were talking about how the inside of most people's homes, it's like, gray or white. I mean, our house is white, but
so.
Or like some sort of neutral tone with a neutral tone floor and a neutral tone siding, and you're like,
and it could be pretty, right? Like it can feel homey or whatever, and we like our house. But like objectively beautiful architecture that you can look at, that you're like, somebody was really proud to make that.
Yeah. I think it's just not there. Like even the buildings they build downtown, right? It might be kind of cool, oh look, that one has a little swoop curve at the top. But it's still just steel glass garbage.
Yeah. Well, and you can tell like whether it's like residential areas or whether it's like businesses and high rises and things like that. Like you can tell that efficiency is the motto, right?
Yeah. And making money, which isn't bad. It's not bad to want to make money, but why can't we have more billionaires that are willing to invest in significantly beautiful infrastructure?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I think that the decline in beauty points to a decline in faith, and I'm not talking faith like Christianity faith, although that is also in decline. Well, maybe on the rise. It kind of depends on how you view it.
Depends, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on which side of the prism you're looking through. But like, if you talk to people, they're like, oh, no, there's no reason for things, like this life has no meaning, Look at this acorn. I am this acorn. Just kidding. But that's how people perceive. They perceive their lives as having no value, and they perceive their surroundings as not being worth upkeeping because we'll all be dust in 1,000 years, bro. And although I agree, we will all be dust in 1,000 years, I don't think that it's worth keeping things boring.
No. And something that always challenges me just with like that evangelical background is like you're looking through the Old Testament and there's such an emphasis on beauty, right? Like God specifically calls on creators and artists and makers to make beautiful things, to make his temple, and even
the tabernacle,
as far back as Leviticus, and it's like you're reading through all these things and you can see that he loves beauty. He has specific blueprints and design and how he wants things made. And I think for me, it challenges me to look at that in scripture.
Yeah.
You know, to see that, because I'm like, well, you don't need that. You know, you don't need that. And it's like, well, nobody needs that. But to say that like beauty is somehow separate from God is like just completely false.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like the beauty is, I think, like, especially when it comes to using your hands and building something, that is somebody's actual gift and talent to be able to make beautiful things, to make like a beautiful like spiral staircase, you know, and like things like that, where that is somebody putting their hands to work and using a gift that God made them, or God gave them. And to say that, you know, there's no place for beauty, it's like, again, that's false, because, you know, even just looking at creation, like there's so much beauty in creation. Like he didn't give us this cement box to live in, you know, and like it's just like sand or dust as far as the eye can see, you know. It's like we have beautiful skies and sunsets and sunrises and rainbows and
trees, you know, and fields and,
and flowers, like flowers come in every single color, and you know, there's just so many beautiful things to look at. And this weird idea that I think can adopt, that like, oh, you know, it's fine, like, you know, we'll just throw it in a high rise. You don't, you know, it doesn't need to be nice. It just needs to be efficient. And like, you know, and it almost just feels like a decline. Like it feels like you're just that much farther from your creator. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think the soul, and that's what some people describe as soullessness. Like when they say a city feels soulless, I think that's what they're talking about. Like there's no history, there's no architecture. Even if you go to a country that's not very old, America, if you go to the United States, they have some especially on the East Coast, they have some historical architecture there. You know, they have style, they have inputs coming, because a lot of them came from across the ocean, from Europe, which has a long history of architectural styles, various architectural styles, and lots of different ways of building structures as well. And available materials has effect and stuff as well. But you know, some of those East Coast cities have really cool architecture and really unique homes.
And it's worth stating that, like, we as people often, if we have the privilege to, go out of our way to see places like that.
It's true.
You know, like we will go to Europe if we have the means to, and
of course, and
we'll go look at palaces, and we'll go look at all this like old architecture, and go on tours and all these different things. And there's just something really incredible about that. Like, I've never been to Europe, but just seeing pictures and seeing people's experiences, and like collectively we can say that it is amazing. Right? It is objectively beautiful. And people go to look at those things and to enjoy them.
And apart from the incredible investment in resources and labor that those things required, I think if you were to ask people today, was it worth it? They would say yes. Like, unequivocally yes.
Well,
because
and you're making something that you're proud of, right? Like something that's beautiful.
And something that will last, and something that creates, not that societal cohesion can't happen without big buildings, you know, insert African tribes here or whatever. But like, there is something cool to know that your great grandfather or somebody in your history worked on something or was a part of something that was incredible, that took a lot of effort, that's going to be long-standing, and that's going to remind people of striving for the good. I think beauty does push us towards goodness. It pushes us towards striving for the good. I think it's part of why modern art has gotten so delusional and abstract, because people have lost their moral mooring. It's a lot. Mooring being like where you tie off a ship. But they've lost their place to tie off, you know? They're not saying, "Oh, there is right and wrong." They're saying, "What is right and wrong?" Right? Absolutely. And so you get some guy drawing on a wall with a marker as he bounces off a trampoline and selling it for $1 million, and you're like, "What happened?" You know, we went from Michelangelo's The David to this. And you know, the David has its problems, you know, with its like to fig leaf or not fig leaf. I get it. But just to say something like and I'm not saying that Jackson Pollock doesn't have any value, like in its abstractness. Maybe, it represents the schizophrenic mind of the artist or something. I don't know. For those of you who don't know, Jackson Pollock is the guy that did like splash canvas art stuff. So it looks like paint splatters on a canvas, and how does it make you feel? It's that sort of thing. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and somebody was willing to pay a lot of money for that.
Wasn't there like maybe this is completely made up, but wasn't there a story about somebody having like invisible art and selling it at
yes.
Yeah.
And well, no, he was selling blank canvases painted a specific color of white.
Okay, and somebody paid a lot of money.
Over $1 million, yeah.
Yeah. Rough.
Super rough. Anyway, so there's, we have, I'm trying to think of a famous painting that's beautiful. Help me out here.
Mona Lisa.
That's not beautiful. I don't know.
Well, it's iconic, so.
The Mona Lisa is not beautiful. I'm trying to think. I can only think of sculptures right now.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not super
cultured. A lot of, how about the work that was done on the Sistine Chapel, right? Like cherub, bunch of naked cherub things, and people floating around and the whole. Yeah. I was going to say the mechanic hand wrench touching photo, but it's like God reaching down to man.
Yeah.
I saw that redone by mechanics very well.
Oh, yeah. No,
but anyway, but it's just.
The art of our generation.
Yeah, the art of our generation. It's memes, folks. We make memes.
AI.
And AI. AI makes art. I made a picture, random tangent. We don't have to go down this rabbit hole. But I asked AI to make me a raccoon dressed in the garb of King Henry VIII with a sign across his chest that said "bad to the bone." And you know what it made me?
What?
Exactly that. I was so pleased. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Living out your potential over there.
Yeah, I could never draw, but the fact that a machine can draw for me in the form that I desire
and
is
it's just your imagination completely unhinged.
Yeah, I'm allowed to say what I want.
Lack of drawing is probably what keeps the rest of the world fairly safe. But now AI has unlocked your potential.
It's true. We're gonna make some weird stuff. Okay, anyway. Back to art and beauty. Okay, none of my AI art will be objectively beautiful. Although I thought the raccoon drawing was pretty good.
Weird.
It is objectively weird. But with the comparison of arts and the comparison of like Renaissance days to now, even some of the, what do you call it? Like mid-history, even some of the art made in the 50s and like pinup style and stuff that came out during the war, like that simplistic, we're running out of paint supplies art, that, that stylistically it looked like something, right? And there was something there that people liked and was intriguing. Even if you look at something like Dr. Seuss, we're getting really abstract now. So maybe I am a fan of Jackson Pollock in some weird backwards way, but Dr. Seuss, like the way he drew cartoons, right? It was weird. It was very imaginative. It was a very unique style, but it was fun. Like I would have a T-shirt with Dr. Seuss characters on it, right? That'd be sweet. But we don't seem to have that level of creativity or ingenuity or originality in our art these days. And I wonder, and this coming from the guy that AI'd a raccoon dressed like King Henry, but I wonder if that is because people feel hopelessness and the nihilism is pushing out people's ability to create. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even when you listen to our music, and I know cream rises to the top, right? So there's always we always have this thing like bad music doesn't exist because when we look back in history, only the good music survived. So we look back and we see whatever the best of what that generation produced is. So I understand that there's bias there. Mm-hmm. But in the last 20 years, besides Hans Zimmer's movie tracks and that Dune track that absolutely slapped, other than those things, than Hans Zimmer movie tracks, right? What music, like Doja Cat? I mean, the fact that there's an artist called Doja Cat, in all seriousness, is an abomination to beauty in and of itself, I would say. but just I don't see it. Where is it? And maybe my lens is wrong, or maybe I'm allowing the wrong things to be amplified, because I'm sure it's out there. But it seems that it's not present in modern popular society.
Yeah, like whatever would be considered the trend, right?
Yeah. And I want, specifically for us, and it's actually you who made me value this, so thank you, but I want our home to be a beautiful place. I want the spaces that I work to be beautiful places. I want the spaces that I relax to be beautiful places. And I think it's worth making them that way. Like the Japanese had a way of doing that was very cool. Granted, a lot of cultural problems. Let's not elevate. You know, I'm not going to release the weeb and be like, oh, Japan is so much better than the West, man. Like, I don't think that. They got a lot of cultural problems, and, you know, they killed themselves just in droves for ritual's sake. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to clarify, but beauty is. I think it's just hard to come by when you're hopeless. I think that's what it comes down to. And we are looking at, especially the buildings built within the last, what would you say, 40 years? Like anything from 80s onward. Because when buildings are old, there's some utility in the way they're built. Like, this is just what was available to us, or this is what we knew how to do, or like there's one contractor, his name is Dave, he builds houses like this.
Yeah.
I get that. But there is a shift to just the tin siding, flat top, box structure.
Well, even like we were just driving around the other day in this like neighborhood, right? And you could tell that a lot of the houses were built like in anywhere like I would say the 60s to like the 80s maybe.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that mid-century modern type home where there's a lot of brick being used. There's like some really cool windows going on.
Some cool angles on the roofs.
Some cool like sloped ceilings, and I don't know, just like the different materials that are used, like the brick especially, and all these different materials. It's like you can see the craftsmanship, right? And for me, it's like I love looking at houses like that because like they all just look so unique, right? Like they're all different when you're driving down the street and you're just like, oh, like that's a cool house. Oh, that's a cool house. Like that's super cool. But yeah, it kind of seems like after that, it was like just a straight up and down, like bi-level split. And like, you know, we live in something like that, so I'm not going to knock it too hard because we love our house. But it's like all the houses are built just for efficiency, and there's not a lot of room for character and beauty and all these different things. And so it's sad to see a lot of that lost. And like now it's like if you have a ton of money, sure, you can like build a really sick custom home, but it's sad to see just like suburbia as a whole just lacking in character. You know?
Yeah. The problem, I guess, is that not everybody can afford custom homes.
Yeah.
And that's fine, I guess. But even the stone town, I'm thinking of the townhouses in England they're close together, those flats. They're kind of like skinnies, but they're all attached and they're all stone. And I know they have problems. I'm going to get a bunch of people from England being like, screw you, man, it's horrible to live in those. I get it. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not trying to glorify what I don't understand, but you know, I don't think anybody's going to look at our crammed in townhouses side by side and be like, oh, wow, this is super unique. And I really love the vinyl siding. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it's just the difference, right? Between like prioritizing efficiency and like building as many homes as possible, as efficient as possible, you know, just making neighborhoods and there's nothing wrong with making neighborhoods accessible to people and you know, but there's that, or then there's like craftsmanship, right? Being able to take your time to build something that you're actually proud of, and the workmanship that comes with that and the beauty that comes with that, where you can tell that somebody like saw their dream come to life, right? Some like woodworker somewhere, or You know, some guy somewhere is like, I built that and I'm really proud of that. Whereas like a lot of the houses we have, you know, a lot of them aren't built well anymore,
It's
you
true.
know, and you see that and you see the problems kind of come up like, and they're relatively new homes, right? And you see these problems, and I think we can collectively agree that things just aren't built like they used to be.
Mm-hmm. And that's not just a trope.
Yeah.
It's legitimately things aren't built like they used to be. There's some
like people are on a deadline,
to some
right?
people's credit though, some things are built really well. I've been a part of a lot of building projects that have gone really well and been incredible in terms of their craftsmanship and just ability to put stuff up. But you're right. The speed, but I also think cuz if we did put the effort into our neighborhoods and our places of living to make them beautiful and to enjoy the little things, that would require a whole shift of our entire culture because people don't have time for it.
No.
Like when we got to this house, every garden that could have been a garden had, you know, weed away and rocks on it.
Yeah.
So
and it just looked so lifeless.
It was lifeless though, but the people, it was like an oil field person, I think, and they just didn't have time to take care of anything, right? They wanted maximum efficiency, as little work as possible, and the ability to leave and come back and not have to do anything but pay the neighbor kid $5 to mow the lawn.
Yeah.
And that's just the culture.
Yeah.
We don't take time to make our homes beautiful, even with this concept of like a starter home. Well, we're only going to be here for this long, so we're not, you know, we're not going to do anything to it. We're not going to waste money. And yeah, there's a time to be frugal and to really count your chickens and be, you know, stock away and be wise. But in the same breath, if I'm going to be somewhere for 4 years, am I going to make that 4 years in a gray dungeon with, you know, no art on the walls because I don't want to scratch the paint?
Yeah. Because it's just work for later on.
You know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm guilty of having thought like this in the past, like just maximum efficiency.
Yeah.
But taking in each moment and having the ability to perceive beauty in all things, even as we were on a walk. We live in a place where winter is long and cold and things are very dead right now. Even though it's springtime, things are not thriving. No. And so we were walking and we were saying, even though it's so dead and brown, we could see something beautiful in this because there's these, you know, if you look closely, there's these little green shoots coming out, and there's these you know, birds that are still standing on the ice, confused, but
there's like buds on the trees.
Yeah, but there's buds on the trees, and the water's coming, and you just everything's kind of holding its breath, like getting ready to go. There's like an energy and a life to it, a beauty to it, and you can't perceive that if you're not focusing, if you're not listening. Wow, I sound like a hippie. Like I've just, you know, let me go barefoot in my oasis, what is it? Zen garden? I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Do you have a fountain back there too?
Get a fountain.
To have the ambiance.
Listen to the sound of the water, which I hear is calming.
Yeah.
Take my deep breaths. Just kidding. I'm like, if somebody really enjoys that, I don't want to knock it. Yeah. I know we have some listeners that are probably like, hey man,
actively doing that right
now.
Yeah,
they're like,
hey.
They're like, you're ruining my peace and quiet. No, I don't actually know how to fix it, other than, I mean, Christ. We do talk about Jesus is the answer to everything, and I think Jesus, because of the witness we see in the Old Testament and even the New Testament, the way he cares for things. Jesus was a craftsman, and God's desire for beauty, like in the temple and in the garments of the priests and all these things, in everything we see, there's this desire for beauty and excellence. And if we are willing to submit ourselves to Holy Spirit, I think he'll drive us as believers to pursue beauty and excellence in whatever capacity he's given us. And that's in the room for personal style too. Some people come into our house and they're like, this is a bohemian hippie nightmare. And other people would come in and think it's great, right? But so there's room for a personal style, and I don't want to
Yeah.
restrict anybody, you know? You have a Kung Fu Panda poster in your bedroom if you want, if that's what you're about, you know?
That's
Po
what
for
you
the
want,
win.
isn't it?
I don't know. Now that I'm thinking, now that I said it out loud, like maybe a spoof Kung Fu Panda poster.
It was just really specific.
It was the first thing that came, came to my head. my imagination is a wasteland of Pixar movies. Okay, but anyway, back to the if we were to actually give over to Holy Spirit and say, what do you want me to do with my space?
Yeah.
Or partner with him to create. Wow, I'm just giving all the charismatic, like I'm giving the tropes. But seriously, partner with Holy Spirit to create and say, like, let's do this together. Show me how you would do this, or who did you make me to be, and how can I bring value and beauty and hope? You know, how can I show people your love, even just through the way my home is set up? I think that's important. I think it matters.
Yeah, and just like trusting God and being submitted in the gifts that he's given you and doing something with your talents. And, you know, the Bible says, like, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And, like, I know there's so much to even just that one statement, right? In that prayer. But, you know, his kingdom is beautiful. You know, the Garden of Eden was beautiful. And it's like, I don't think we can even possibly imagine what his kingdom looks like. And, you know, like, what if people were fully submitted in the talents and the gifts that he gave us, you know, for people to enjoy and, you know, to create beautiful things, because, like, our God creates beautiful things. And, you know, what would it look like if more people felt the freedom to do that instead of, like, probably what looks like bondage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what would that look like?
Yeah.
I think it would look really cool.
I think it'd be awesome. And I think that people need to be able to hope again. And we need to be willing to invest time in making things beautiful. You know, because it is a sacrifice.
It is.
You're gonna, if you're trying to build the perfect fence, you're going to take longer than the guy that puts up the fastest fence, but your lines will be straighter, you know?
And you'll be proud of it.
And you'll be proud of it, and it'll last a long time, and maybe it'll inspire the next guy to make a straighter, prettier fence. Not that fences are the metric for beauty. It was just, again, the first thing that came to my wasteland of an imagination. So, have we covered it all?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think that's it. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to Katie and I discuss this topic of beauty and godly beauty and bringing beauty back into life and culture, and how we can cultivate beauty through our relationship with the Lord. Yeah, that was pretty much all we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more dome structures. If we ever become cajillionaires, you know, if the podcast takes off.
Oh, yeah.
And who's the
Tell
one
your
that
friends.
yeah, who's the one that sponsors everybody? There's if Norton VPN or something started sponsoring us. Maybe not Norton.
I thought you were going to say, like,
No, it's
UG1 or
NordVPN.
something.
There's a lot of common sponsors going around. Anyway, I want this podcast to be timeless, so I won't bring up the current era of sponsors. But but regardless, yeah, if we ever get rich, we're building a custom. It's going to be insanely opulent and beautiful. And we will use it as a space to inspire people to move towards Jesus. You know who, I don't want to name names, but our Catholic friends that built a chapel. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, like, actually breathtaking.
It is breathtaking. It draws you closer to God.
Yeah.
And they took the time to, like, source the materials. And it was very expensive to do to build that chapel.
But it's, like, legitimately a blessing to
It is a
people.
huge blessing. And their whole home is a blessing.
Yeah.
And David took the time, man, to make it
you
beautiful.
name-dropped.
Oh, I name dropped. Sorry. But, like, David's a super common name. What, are they going to go through all, like, 11 million Davids on the earth?
Maybe his name isn't even David.
Maybe
You
it's
never know.
not. Maybe
You
it's
never know.
maybe it's Johann Sebastian Bach. He made beautiful music. Okay, we're going down a rabbit hole. Thank you for listening. It's been a slice, and we will see you on the next one. Oh, if you have questions, concerns, crises, or tumors, feel free to email us at thecricketandtheking@gmail.com. That's cricket spelt with a KR. KRICKET and the king. Thecricketandtheking@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day. Bye now.